With the Carolina Panthers getting one in the victory column for the first time in 2025, is it safe to say that the Carolina Panthers have finally gotten over the hump?
It's not funny, Ed. Hey, shut up!
Well, judging by some of you guys and some of the analysts out there, I would say that's an accurate description. But this week, the Panthers face a foe that's offense is struggling just as mightily as ours. Will the Panthers defense be healthy enough to take advantage? Stick around to find out on Growlin' and Prowlin'. Welcome back, Growlers. Thank you all so much for joining us here on this edition of Growlin' and Prowlin'. Of course, you're growling with the one and only Mr. CeeLo. And guys, I must tell you, it's been a lot of fun calling this show, but I'm gonna tell you, there's a lot of red in this depth chart. As I said, we see Ja'Tavion Sanders and Xavier Legette out. Tedero McMillan is considered questionable. I think it's with a calf strain, possibly same issue with Chuba Hubbard. Then we go down to defense. Patrick Jones and DJ Wonnum will be out for this game. Ultimately, I'm still waiting on Coach Avero to pull the plug on Nick Scott. I really am, but that's neither here nor there. Let's go to the big question that everybody has. What do I think about this game against the New England Patriots in due time? I just hope you guys are doing great. As you know, there's a hurricane spinning off the East Coast, so it's kind of a good thing that the Panthers are not home this week and that they're up in Foxborough facing off with a football team that has really had its share of problems on the offensive side, and they're going to be without starting guard Jared Wilson. So that adds more to the issues that the New England Patriots have, as Drake May has not been able to really get it going this season yet. He's got 785 yards passing on 106 attempts. Yeah, that's a situation where, in my opinion, they're doing more with less. Even though Stephon Diggs is there, a lot of teams are saying, hey, look, we're going to shut that down. Ultimately, you understand with a football team, you realize a team coached by Vrabel is going to be a running football team. I mean, but when you look at it, Ramondre Stevenson is the number one rusher, tied with Drake May in rushing yards. Whew. There are two problems I got here. Number one, if you're the Carolina Panthers, you're looking at this and you're saying, yay, yay, yay. But ultimately, you're looking at that yards per average, and that's kind of deceiving. Ramondre Stevenson averaging 4 yards a carry. Drake May averaging 4.1. Travion Henderson averaging 3.4. But then you look at in the touchdown column and you only see one rushing touchdown. Now, as a defense, you look at that and you say, yes, yes, yes. But then you also got to look and you got to say to yourself, you only got one rushing touchdown that's of a non-quarterback. So ultimately, you have two offenses that are sputtering, trying to figure their way out of a serious hole, and neither one of these teams has really showed themselves to a really dynamic schedule. Now, you could argue that Pittsburgh is a much better team than many people give them credit for, being 21-14, lost to the Steelers, in which Drake May was Mr. High Passer, Mr. High Rusher. And then on the other side, you got us, where we were able to do what we did to Atlanta, but the difference is you look at it as a whole. We beat ourselves, and then Atlanta did return the favor. They turned around and did the exact same thing we did against the Cardinals. The only difference is we fought back. And I look at people all the time and I say straight up, do we still think that Arizona was playing around in that game? I don't think so. Stupid. I look at it from the standpoint that just like last night in the Seattle game, Arizona could have just folded up the tent and went home. They didn't do that. Matter of fact, they had a chance to win the game. I think ultimately when we look at this game, I know people are going to say I'm crazy. I know you guys are going to say I'm nuts. But New England's trying to find its offense. And we know the NFL is a week-to-week league. I get it. I totally understand it. But I'm ultimately of the mindset, I think the Panthers are going to come out. They're going to establish the run. And a lot of people are going to look at this and they're going to say, let us run the ball. While I somewhat agree, I do believe that we're going to try to run the ball and we're going to try to get the ball to Ted McMillan. There's no ifs, ands, and buts about it. I think we try to get him the ball, and there's a guy who is really winning the impressions of myself and winning the coach's impressions. And I think Bryce is starting to trust him. His name happens to be Bryson Tremaine. He's got 5 grabs on the season for 63 yards, and he had that big 26-yarder. I think he could honestly become one of those big play guys. I think ultimately his size is what draws you to him. And I think with a guy like him, you got to start looking more for him. And I think he's playing more and more percentage of the snaps. But ultimately, he's going to have to be a guy that you need to put him out there. I honestly think that's what needs to happen. They need to put him out there and give him an opportunity. Renfro's your guy underneath. Trimble's done a great job doing what he does. Mitchell Evans has even done a good job. And then I think these guys need to eat up the little stuff. Bryson Tremaine, they need to be the guys that are going up the field. Teams need to realize, hey, you're not going to get much trying to fool with us short. We're going to take it down the field. I think this is a good game to try to do that in, because when you look at New England as a whole, you look at that, the way they played Miami, they've shown they can give up the dynamic plays. They've shown that they are susceptible to some big plays. And looking at the way this team has not been able to really close deals, because now Christian Gonzalez, the other corner that's starting opposite of Carlton Davis III, is questionable. I'm gonna be honest. If this guy doesn't play, I'm imagining they're gonna try to put them match up Carlton Davis, and he's had a rough go at it this season. This hasn't been the type of season you're seeing from Davis that you're seeing the guy out of Tampa Bay. So ultimately, in my opinion, this is where the Panthers could attack the 6'1", 206-pound Davis, who's coming up on his 8th NFL season. So, in a sense, that you've got to make sure that you are not only staying with the run, but you don't want to. This is the team you don't want to run it to death on, because ultimately New England does not want you to run it. Now, I know I said at the beginning, you want to be able to run the ball. I think you're going to run the ball, but you ultimately want to be able to stretch the field. And I think you can do that with this team. Stretch the field with New England's inability to have certain players in the secondary. I think that's where you look at this team and you say, okay, there is a weakness in it, and I know a lot of people are going to say, "Oh, with Chason and Ellis and Milton Williams, the big body out of Philly." Now I will say this: this would be a great comeback game for these guys. But Williams has already got 2 sacks on the season. This is a tackle, y'all. But the truth of the matter is you got Tonga and Barmore, and the reality of it is this team is big and solid up front. And they're not going to be a world beater stopping the run, but you should be able to get enough play action and get Bryce enough room and time to either get it to Bryce and Tremaine, or you can get that thing to Tetero and McMillan. But you ultimately still got Hunter Renfrow, and possibly this is the X factor because Xavier Legette is out. This is the wild card. Who's going to start? David Moore, Bryson Tremaine, or Jimmy Horn? I smell Bryson Tremaine. And I'm going to be honest with you. As much as I love XL and Steve Smith's defending him, I honestly believe this could be the beginning of the end of XL if this injury lasts for a minute. This could not come at a worse time for him in his state to be that true number 2. Because if Bryson Tremaine comes out and impresses, you can't have 2 6'4 plus guys out there just tearing it up. If you're a New England Patriot guy, that's a nightmare. And then you throw in the itty bitty Hunter Renfrow, who somehow went from not being on the team to all of a sudden starting. Yeah. And I mean, now we're looking at the situation where Adam Thielen is not even being that kind of contributor, and this is no knock on him. He wanted to go home, but I can tell you right now, the way things are working out, it's looking more and more every day like he should have chosen to stick around here. I understand what it's like to go home, but I wished he had have stuck around. It's looking more and more every day like he should have decided, and he would have finished his career at least with the idea that, hey, look what we're doing. We are straight tearing it up in the last few moments that I am going to be in the National Football League. And now it's looking more and more like with near the return of Jordan Addison. It's looking more like, especially with the injury to J.J. McCarthy, it's looking more and more like Adam Thielen is going to finish his career the same way he left. You know, he's got 2 grabs for 26 yards. He'd have that, and he would have had that in the first 5 minutes of the first game. I don't know if he did not want that, or if, he just wanted so badly to be in that Minnesota uniform that he just absolutely did not care. But it's a shame to me. It's a doggone shame to me, because he could have, that 103 reception season he had back in 23. He could have really been tearing it up. I mean, you take the 7 games he missed last season, he still had 48 grabs. So, yeah, it's just a shame. I really hate it for him, but he ultimately doesn't regret that decision. But as I said, right now that third position where XL is going to be the wild card. I think ultimately with the New England's offense, I think they're going to try to run the football, knowing that either Princely Emmanuel and Nick Scorton are going to be starting. I really think that it's going to be Nick Scorton and DJ Johnson starting on those edges positions. I don't think Princely's ready for that yet. I think ultimately he's going to be a guy that starts. He's going to come in on a lot of pass situation. I think he gets more snaps this week. Another guy that I think Coach Avero has to start getting in there is going to be Lathan Ransom. This guy is playing his way into not only the hearts of this fan base, but he is playing his way into the attention of Coach Ichiro Avero. Devontae Richardson doing his thing, but I think ultimately, you can't. There's only so long you can keep a guy away from your attention and just keep ignoring him. You can't keep ignoring him. So. But guys, let me know what you think about the New England Patriots. What do you think the Panthers need to do? Are there any things that we need to look out for that possibly could be a stumbling block? Make sure you go down in the comments and let me know. As well as make sure you subscribe and hit that like button, as well as hit the notification bell so that you can get all of the alerts when I go live, as well as when I drop shows and I drop shorts. Make sure you go to my Facebook and join the Facebook group, as well as the Facebook page at the same name, Growling and Prowling. And finally, make sure you go to my Instagram at Mr. CeeLo so you can keep up with the in-season shenanigans that I will be caught up in. But until the next time, don't forget to leave your mark while prowling the airwaves and growling out. Keep pounding.